Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Gyle here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. I hope this cast finds you happy, well-adjusted, and disease-free, as I'm sure you all are. Where that came from. Yes, there was a large gap there. Again, breaking programming. For those of you that don't know, my youngest stepson broke his arm, and I'm organising a wedding, and I've decided to move house on top of it all. So craving stressful situations at the moment. Not great for finding time for YouTube, but that will end today. 2v2 coming your way, pro level, all very exciting. Incidentally, in between now and the previous cast, if you didn't know, there was a Steam sale. I realise that's absolutely no use to you whatsoever if you didn't know that and haven't bought it and been looking out for Forged Alliance to pick up a cheap copy. And you can say, Gyle, if you had done some casts, I would have known about that. Well, yeah, sorry about that. But I have had a bunch of people message me actually and say they've bought multiple Steam keys for Sopcom. And I know, depending on demand or whatever, I might throw up a forum thread. What you could do, if you are, for some reason, not able to attain a copy, or haven't been able to attain a copy of Forged Alliance, but would like to get involved and join the community, you could post a message on my Facebook page. That's facebook.com/Gylecast, or just type Gylecast into the search function. It should come up, and maybe we can liaise with different people that way, but I shouldn't think there'll be too many of you, because most of you know a great frickin' game when you see one, and then you go out and buy it. That's what you do. But anyway, the option's there if you haven't managed it. Like I said, it's going to be a 2v2 pro level, all very exciting, and it's going to go down on Desert Planet 2. How very interesting. Let's go on over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. So, we'll call this Team 1 up here at the top, this Team 2 down here at the bottom. We'll take a look at the map in just a second because we haven't casted on this before, I'm pretty certain, and it's had a little bit of a revival of late in the last week or two from what I've seen from the replay files, and in the vault, lots of people picking this one up. It's funny how things go through phases. Look at that. Texture deformation. What's going on? It's like some strange time warp. Crater, no crater. Anyway, there's Washy, my good friend. In fact, just about everyone here is my close personal friend. It's a game of two teams and two halves. Thanks, Gyle. Good one there. Anyway, he's going UEF in mellow yellow, opening first land. And to his right, the one and only LuXy in baby blue. He's going as quintessential Seraphim and opening first land. And down here at the bottom, we've got Tiep in Ferrari red. He's going Seraphim, opening first land, second air. And to his right over here, it's Blodir. And he's gone Cybrin, going first land, second air as well. So it's going to be a Seraphim Cybrin versus Seraphim UEF affair. Now let's take a look at this map. Once again, you'll see it's not uniform, which is probably an explanation as to why it hasn't been played more often in the past. People love their uniform maps because it means when you beat your opponent, they can't go, well, the map isn't there. I don't know what that's. I don't know anyone in the FAF community that speaks like that, but you know what I mean. They just don't have an excuse. But it has to be said, they are a lot more pretty because they actually look like potentially real places. You'll never get a Setton's clutch emerging in nature. Thank goodness. But anyway, you've got a decent abundance of mass, classically as well, or possibly to be played as a 3v3 or a 6-player free-for-all. You have an extra starting location down here. You don't get the standard 4 mass in the core to start with on this map. It is 3 mass in the center with 4 outlying. Actually, no, sorry, 3 outlying and a hydro. You've got 2 in the center and then a couple of extra ones in the channels here. And what I do like about this map is these little plateaus in the mountains in the corner. You can just imagine that stuff could really kick off on those if only someone had thought to put some mass points on them, but as a result, I don't think they ever get used. I can't imagine. I mean, I suppose if you were, say, Tiep, and Washy comes forward and grabs all this, you could potentially get a base together up here and shove a couple of T2 static artillery emplacements and bombard the valley below with all of the little things scurrying about in the channels. Got a snoop out there for Washy, giving himself a little bit of early warning about anything that's coming that way, but I mean, otherwise, I can't really see much more use for that. Maybe someone wants to rework this map for me. One of you clever map gods. Going to shove just a couple of mexes up here would do it. Just, you know, get the drops involved. Love to see that. I'm sure the original map maker out there is going, no, Gyle, you're messing with my original vision. But Selen gets his rocks off by gunning down a helpless Snoop. Well, the Snoop actually does have a gun on it with its amazing 2 DPS that it does. But Washi, pull back that engineer, yo. Pull it back, son. No. So Washi, by the looks of things, the first person to lose a unit of build capacity, does even have a striker in the area as well, and gets a little bit of payback by blapping down that Selen. Scout plane over the top for Tiep. Now we've got a little bit of action going on between this striker and this Tham. Over in the east, meanwhile, Blodir is up front with a Mantis and a Mole, and he's going to very unfortunately choose the one location where the ACU is sitting there for LuXy. LuXy wakes up just in time to see the Mantis scurry over the hill and far away. And Washi has pulled a maneuver here. He's going to the right as well. I would have expected Washi to push out and secure this other starting location over here with his ACU, but he's decided not. So whether this is some kind of pre-prepared strategy that he and LuXy are doing, pushing very hard together down the right side, we'll have to wait and see. But Tiep is going to be tough to stop with no ACU on this side. I suppose, of course, you have got these choke points. If Washi can get enough static D together in time, he might be able to seal this area off. But, of course, you're giving up this starting location without a fight. So you've got to make this count by preferably taking down Blodir early, or at least crippling his base so as to take him out of the equation, because Tiep is going to get a whole load of free stuff, and that's never good, especially when it's Tiep or any of these guys, because as you can see by their rating, they are all very proficient. I mean, if you were just going on rating side of things, and of course history of casts, I hope Tiep and Blodir won't hate me for saying this, but I'd have to go with LuXy and Brainwashed on this one if you were going to say on paper who was going to win this one at the start. But Subcom is never a foregone conclusion, unless, of course, I'm playing. But Tiep spreading out just about everywhere. Got a little forward group here, getting in between the two ACUs of Team 1 and LuXy's base here, potentially about to threaten some resourcing options here. One mech's surely going to go down. And a few engineers over here are going to throw together a radar. They really needed some static D. Of course, 6 minutes gone in this one, and the mass values are still quite low, so tough to throw together static defense in just a moment's notice. And that's a lot of Thams bearing down on Washi's base, but Washi has transitioned very quickly into T2 and already has pillars rolling out to the west to defend, and they are going to be more than sufficient to cover that pass for the moment. Meanwhile, over in the east, Tiep has taken down another of LuXy's T1 mexes. LuXy will just about manage to hold on to that third there. 244 hit points remaining on that bad boy. But Washi is going to lose one mex. At least he'll be able to protect his core base. I wonder what happens down here now that Tiep has seen that T2 rolling off. Doesn't look like we've got any T2 suddenly emerging for him. Transport away laden with engineers. Perhaps a proxy base up here is going to emerge. And Blodir rolling around over here, making life difficult for LuXy. Going to take down that forward factory we saw him building a little bit earlier. This is a curious strategy, deciding to go east on this one. But I like what Washi's doing. At least he's gone early T2, and that was indeed more than enough to stifle that early attack. Of course, it would be a spot of difficulty if Tiep decides to go Rambo-com and go strolling up here with overcharge. That will eliminate the tech advantage that he finds himself in. I'm surprised he's not doing that now, actually. Tiep not feeling like he wants to press just yet. He's going to throw down some static T1 anti-air instead. Washi renamed his commander Live or Live with 3 exclamation marks, so he's shouting that, I suppose. Going to get an upgrade on the comm there. Ooh, transport. LuXy bringing up more build capacity to the front lines. It is a pretty game, this. It has to be said. I know I say it again and again and again, but for 2007, you've got to give it its dues. Still takes my breath away. Washi looking like he wants to make a move in the center. He's a little short on Lobos. He has got pillars, so I suppose that might be able to bear the brunt of that auto gun fire. There are, of course, a handful of Mantis up here as well. Decent intel with the 2 moles and the radar, so he'll be able to see what's coming. And Washi perhaps deciding against it. Tiep just walling off up here. Doesn't want to have to contend with this. Doesn't finish the wall. Maybe wants to keep that channel open for moving any of his own units down at a later date. Instead, he's going to move back slightly and throw down a PD. But LuXy transitioning into T2 Air. Vulthu's T2 Seraphim gunships come storming into the center and about to knock out that central outpost there for Blodir. There goes one of the mexes, the radar, the PD. It's always very much a feature of LuXy, and you've got to love the dedication to the air game. He's always good at getting early T2 air on the field. A cheeky little drop here from Tiep. T1 transport full of Zuis. As he coming into land right in around the back of Washi's base, and this one could really hurt. First volley away, going straight after the T2 mechs at the back. Going to take 3 volleys to take it down. There it goes. And Washi going to be short stacking big time on eco after this attack, I think. And now another T2 mechs under pressure. Oh no. Washi down to 13 mass per tick. Blodir meanwhile out on 40. LuXy on 35 and Tiep on 29. A little bit of a conflict brewing over in the west as well. Tiep still got his ACU handy. He's probably going to need that. This T1 faring rather badly against all of these pillars. But look at the damage that Zui drop has caused to Washi's eco. 5 mass per tick coming down. 4 mechs is taken out of commission. 5, in fact, with this one over here. That is a bad state of affairs for our yellow UEF. Payback's a female dog, though. LuXy enacting revenge for his teammate there with his Vulthu. He's going to have to give that T1 anti-air a little bit of a wide berth, which is what he's been doing, but he's still able to pick off a few mexes. Washi, meanwhile, though, moving hard on Blodir. 12,000 hit points on that comm, of course, next to the Cybrin 10,000. Washi also with the gun upgrade and a ton of pillars rolling in as support. We have got some rhinos on the field, but Blodir down to 3,900 hit points. I'm surprised Washi isn't pushing this one. They take Blodir out of this one, and they go into the lead. In comes LuXy with his Vulthu's going to go straight after the bangers to start with to give the gunships the best chance of taking down that ACU. They switch up to take down the energy storage, taking away Blodir's ability to overcharge, but why on earth they're not staying on Blodir's comm? I guess they think Washi's got it. Blodir's down to 460 HP, and a nice little bump there from the Rhino keeps a bit of distance there between Washi's comm and Blodir, who's still only on 700 hit points. But excellent defense there from Tiep, bringing in those inties, and he finishes off those gunships, and that is crucial. That should have been Blodir dead there. Team 1 will be absolutely kicking themselves. They did not finish him off there and then when they had the chance. Never mind, there's always tomorrow or the next 2 minutes, as the case may be, in a game of SOPCOM. More gunships out for LuXy. And Washi taking Cerberus fire. He's going to have to back on up out of there. Got down to around 3,900 hit points. Regen on the Cybrin comm, of course, is the most proficient. 1,700 hit points now on Blodir, looking a little bit healthier than he did just a minute ago. Tiep thinking about making a move through this canyon here, but all that's waiting for him at the other end is a horde of pillars and strikers. Not going to get any traction there, and Tiep agrees he's going to back on up in the face of Washi's advance. Washi back up to 19 mass per tick. He has gotten some way to restore his eco after that stunning Zooey attack we saw about 5 minutes ago. Blodir not out on front anymore. LuXy has taken the lead, 49 mass per tick. Blodir 39, Tiep 29, and Washi on 21. So things still going okay for Team 1, despite that drop earlier, and potentially another one moving in, and this time it's going to be T2. We've got Ioshivas and Ilshivas, so mobile flak to protect the Ilshivas alongside while they get down and dirty on the ground. So LuXy not going to be able to comfortably eradicate this little drop with his gunships. Brainwashed, though, making a move on Tiep's forward base here. Tiep on an upgrade. That's nearly completed, but for the moment at least, he will be static. And Tiep getting in around the back with this drop. It is all go on this one. A ton of build capacity there for Washi, about to get gunned down. Washi coming in to reclaim these Ilshivas. Nice bit of bumping as well. Stops that relatively fast-moving unit from escaping, and one of them does actually get killed by the engineers. His family will be terribly embarrassed. He'll probably have to go on his little Ilshiva headstone there. But Tiep with the gun upgrade, storm forwards, having completed that upgrade. And Washi's going to have to back on up out. 2 pillars, a Lobo, and a Snoop remaining in that one. A few Ilshivas from LuXy rolling around in the center of Team 2's territory. And a few units of build capacity up front. Tiep could be vulnerable. Let's have a look on what their intel is like. Well, gaps in their intel. I think you might have seen him a little bit earlier. That does look like a move to intercept there from Tiep. We've got one little striker there in tow from Washi. What have we got? We're still working on just T2 across the field. No crazy early T3 on the way. It is only coming up to 18 minutes gone in this one. LuXy up to 61 mass per tick, running away with it eco-wise. That might have been actually reclaim. Let's take a look at reclaim. In fact, 3,400 banked for LuXy. Needs to get a handle on his power situation. Blodir 6,200, Tiep 10,000, and Washi on 8,000. So LuXy, surprisingly behind on the reclaim side of things, but got to think about it, he's one of the kind of corner positions in this. LuXy and Tiep further away from the front lines than, of course, Washi and Blodir. This is going to be tough for Washi, though. Tiep finally brings his comm into play. And with a couple of Ioshivas nearby, he can feel relatively comfortable that he's not going to get gunship rushed by LuXy. A few interceptors hovering overhead just in case. LuXy does have a tidy little air force going on, but he's a long way from the gunship horde he would need to really threaten that comm. And as this push comes into the base, Washi withdraws his ACU. Washi giving up several thousand HP. In fact, Washi is sitting on around half the hit points on his comm that Tiep has got. So Tiep can afford to just push here. Washi trying to throw together a triad a little bit further back, but I don't know if he's going to have time to complete that. Tiep's coming in pretty damn quickly. Overcharges coming in to the pack of pillars that are circling around just above Washi's comm there. LuXy telling him to back up. Doesn't want to lose his teammate unnecessarily here. Landed interceptors for Tiep. Never a good place to land, right in front of your opponent's offensive ground units. It's always a good idea to test that theory every now and again, but generally it doesn't work out. And out comes the flak as LuXy hovers over the top. Some Notha fighter bombers going straight in after Tiep's com. You see the alpha damage that they put out. Takes him down to around 10,000 hit points. It might not kill him straight away, but it's important because it sheds extra hit points and gives Washi the chance to fend off this attack with the com. If they can isolate Tiep here, maybe Luzon does have enough fighter bombers to turn this round. Tiep down to 4,500 hit points. Washi on around 8,900. Tiep backs up, sends in the Ilshivers in front. Needs to be incredibly careful here. This is going to represent the end of Tiep's ground push here, and Tiep might have bitten off more than he can chew. He's into the red, 3,600 hit points left. Another fighter bomber comes in, gets shot down immediately, but does get the bomb away. 2,500 hit points remain. More fighter bombers incoming, but Blodir is doing an excellent job of tidying all of this up and protecting his teammate, who is in dire straits at the moment as he turns tails and run back to friendly territory. Meanwhile, another push coming up through the center, this time from Blodir. He's not holding it though, he's coming straight in to Washi's base, wants to maintain the pressure here. Luzon, ignoring that, is going to come across as well. And we've got a cheeky little band of pillars coming in around the back from Washi. There is action going on just about every part of this map right now. If I miss anything, I do apologize, but it is a nightmare to keep track. And this little band of rhinos coming in now is not going to get anything done. Washi has relocated his forces to the south. And now it's going to be pillar versus rhino. Couple of units of T1 in there, but of course these Medusas as well. EMP incredibly annoying. Washi's going to be forced to get his commander involved. Washi still lagging behind the rest of the field, has never got his eco back on track after that drop from Tiep a little while ago. 29 mass per tick. Second place is Blodir on 56, then Tiep on 57, and then Luzon way out in front, ecoing like he always does on 78. Of course, one positive point is Washi should have access to a decent amount of reclaim. Look at this debris field littered around his base. If he can secure the fringes for any length of time, get back into this reasonably easily. That is, of course, if Luzon allows him to have any mass. Large transport coming in at build capacity. You don't need it, Washi. It's fine. I'll take the mass and I'll carry. But uh-oh! T3 on the field. Blodir rolling in the front door with a team of loyalists. Luzon's commander over here to the east. He's going to throw an upgrade on his comm rather than marching it straight in there. I'm wondering what we're going to see on that, whether it's going to be T2 or gun. And now we're seeing gunships on the field for Team 2. Blodir throwing some renegades into the mix, and the pendulum swinging once again in this game. Blodir taking control in the air. Well, I say taking control, at least pumping a larger amount of resources into his air production. These interceptors circling over the bottom, but these renegades coming up here to try and pick off some stragglers. I'd imagine Luzon will fancy that. His interceptors are a stone's throw away. In they come. We're going to get a little bit of an air engagement going on here straight after the renegades ignoring Blodir's interceptors. Wants to get rid of those gunships. First of all, he's picked off around 4 or 5 of them. But sooner or later he's going to have to turn his attention to the escort. And there he does. A lot of Blodir's planes are actually out of fuel. That's going to significantly dull their combat effectiveness, but Blodir with enough to prevail after that little engagement. Tiep on the rampage once again. A ton of Zuis and Ilshivers and Ioshivers. Nice little mix of units there coming in the western approach. And this is not going to be good. Look at the loyalists that have just marched straight up the map from Blodir, and now threatening to sandwich Washi's base. Between them and Tiep's forces, going to go straight after the T2 mexes. Washi's like, I just rebuilt those, leave me alone. And another set of loyalists in around the back of LuXy's base. This is great work from Blodir, great work from Team 2 generally. About the time of the game where they go, why on earth didn't we press a little bit harder and finish Blodir off when we had the chance? ACU incredibly close to dying a little bit earlier. But Washi's base now in danger of being wiped out. LuXy has lost 3 mexes as well. He's down to 50, and Tiep has run away with this one. Blodir is actually in second place now on eco after Tiep. And T1 suddenly find themselves in a very bad situation indeed. Brainwashed base is down and out with no prospect of it returning. Air engagement kicking off down here at the bottom. LuXy seems to have won that one. Renegades running for home, but they're not going to make it. He's not going to make it. So, for the moment, at least, that's one area of the game that LuXy is able to hang on to, but with the crumbling of his teammate on this side, it now leaves him very vulnerable to an attack from the west. There's a lot of units down here. We've got 3 more loyalists and a lot of T1 and T2 coming in from Tiep. That's not good, man. Now, this is looking tough even for LuXy, and a player of his caliber to stand a chance of turning this one around. I hate to call a game before it's over, although I do every single time, so that's not true at all. It's not looking good, and down goes the last factory for Brainwashed. And now LuXy faces an imminent threat from the west. Washi picking up his commander and going for a escape maneuver. LuXy actually stockpiling gunships here. What have we got on the ground in terms of anti-air? I wonder if they could manage, if LuXy can manage to grab air. Could be tough. There's a lot of intercepts on the field for Tiep and Blodir combined. And is he going to be able to hold this push off? That's the question. There's not a lot on the ground here. We've got the odd unit of T1 PD around the base, but that is too much firepower rolling in from the west. Build capacity going pop left, right, and center. It is engineered genocide in that base. Like, nice base, I'll take it. But look out, cheeky comm drop at the back from LuXy and Washi. Washi with the shield, so Washi is looking incredibly tanky indeed, but does he have overcharge? Does he manage to rebuild it anywhere? No, he doesn't, so Washi without the ability to take out the bricks. LuXy, has he lost it yet? He's under serious threat in his base. He's got it for the moment. How long that will last, though, is anyone's guess. The ping goes down on Blodir's comm, who is making a run for it. LuXy already down to 7,600 hit points. There are a ton of Cerberuses in the main base and more going up all the time. LuXy needs to try and overcharge into that pack of Cerberus turrets. He's firing tac missiles away. but no chance of that hitting anything. We've also got Othens coming in from LuXy as well, going after Blodir's comp, but it's not going to matter, surely. LuXy about to die, well into the red, 1,000 hit points remain, 500, 200, boom baby, down goes LuXy after 29 minutes, and I'm pretty sure Washi is soon to follow. The GGs go out all round. His base had been destroyed anyway. And now the build capacity comes in to throw together more autocannons to finish this off nice and quickly. Washi backing up into Blodir's base, picking off the last couple of Ilshivas as he goes. But it's not going to matter. Boom, baby! 29 minutes of pure joy. Very well played from Team 2. I gotta say, I'm surprised. I did call it in favor of LuXy and Washi at the beginning. But that just goes to show you. I think I'd love to have seen that match if Washi had come out and done what I would have thought he would have done, if he'd have just grabbed the initiative down here, and we'd have had a more all-encompassing match. But I can see what they're trying to do. Ulterior tactics, ulterior attempts, strategies. This game, try and catch your opponent off guard are always a good option, especially at this level where predictability is often a killer. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that one. As always, more to come from me in the future. But in the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Gyle, signing out.